If you're watching this video, it's probably because you're interested in buying a home and you're also interested in using me as your buyer's agent. First thing I want to do is thank you for giving me the opportunity to even get in front of you, and let's consider this our virtual interview. Now I'm going to give you just some of the qualities and traits that I think make me different than the competition out there, but I would love the opportunity to sit down in person and get more in depth into each one of these in detail. Now, if you haven't watched my full video on the entire home buying process, be sure to watch that first, so that way you kind of get a little bit of the gist of what it's like to buy the home. Now, what we're gonna do here is we're gonna discover a little bit more in depth of what the actual home buying process looks like with me, because it can look completely different from agent to agent. Now, my job is hopefully to impress you enough that where you say, you know what, Derek, I don't wanna interview any more agents, you're the right man for the job. So with that being said, let's get started. Now, if you know anything about the home buying process, the first thing that you should do is interview agents. So like I said, let's consider this my interview. And I think the first trait that really sets me apart is experience. I have a lot of experience, and that's in business and in real estate, over 10 years to be exact. I like to tell people that I've probably been in more homes than some agents out there who have been licensed for a lot longer than I have, just because of the nature of the business that I've been in. Now, I've been in the business of marketing homes and marketing agents, and to be honest, marketing at the end of the day, it's all the same. It's taking a product and selling it to somebody else, and hopefully they find value in it. But I definitely think that experience is my number one asset. This is not my first rodeo when it comes to business. I've been self-employed for probably around 10 years now as well. And I can tell you that in this industry, that employee mindset is not gonna get the job done. Now that leads me to my next quality, which I think is sales and negotiation. What a lot of people don't realize is that real estate agents are salesmen. We are selling ourselves every day as the right person to sell you a home. So we're taking a people and we're taking a product, which in this case is a home, and we're selling it. And a lot of times in that sales process, there's what you would call a lot of negotiation going on. And the reason why I bring up that having an employee mindset, this is not the right place for it, is because having an employee mindset is not gonna help you when it comes to negotiation. And it's not gonna help you getting the best deal or getting the best price or getting the best terms on a home, whether that is for you as a buyer or that might even be for a seller. A lot of times the person who gets the better deal is the person who had the agent on one end that was just a little bit more ballsy than the other one. Now, the third quality that I would like to portray is having systems. Yes, having systems built. The reality is that sometimes life gets busy, life gets in the way. Some people have families, some people have kids, or you get sick, and business does not stop. Showings don't stop, calls don't stop, contracts don't stop. So you need to have some sort of system in place that no matter where a client is or no matter where I am in life, I can make sure that things are still moving smoothly and that the process is moving forward ahead. Now, I would personally say, if you contact some of my past clients, they're gonna tell you that organization and systems is probably one of my biggest assets. Now, the fourth trait that I like to tell you about is my marketing background. I like to tell people that I'm a marketer first. I always will brand and market myself over everything. I am a salesperson second, and I am a real estate agent third. Because real estate agents, at the end of the day, what you are is you are a marketing person. Like I said, you are a business person. You are a salesperson. You just happen to be in the real estate industry. And all the title of a realtor allows you to do is to get that commission check. But a lot of the tactics and a lot of the training still applies no matter what industry that you're in. And my marketing background has allowed me to get what? Look, in front of you, has allowed me to get other homes in front of other consumers like yourself. And if you have any ounce of a business mindset, you understand that marketing is the lifeline and the bloodline of any business. And the fifth trait that I would like to talk to you about is hard work and dedication. I was not born rich, I was not raised rich, and I still am not rich. And right now at this very moment in life where I stand, I am single, I am dedicated to my business, and this is what I do, and this is my full-time job. My job is to make sure that I provide the best possible service for my clients, which is you, and make sure that you get the best terms possible and that you are happy with the decision that you made. Because you are the person who's gonna live in your house. You are the person who's gonna come home every day. And then I wanna make sure that you got a deal in a place that you feel very, very happy to come home to every single day. This is not my part-time thing. I didn't get into this because I was bored. I got into this because I saw an opportunity. I'm seeking an opportunity, and I understand that real estate is the #1 wealth builder in the world, no matter where you live. And that's why I chose this industry. But hard work goes across. I have results to back it up. I have results to prove it. And all you have to do is simply ask. Now that's a little bit of some of the traits and qualities that I have. We can get more in depth in person or over the phone or over Zoom and talk, where you can ask me more questions. But I think those are just 5 qualities that simply separate me from the competition out there. Now the next thing that I would like to talk to you is about my personalized game plan. Not every agent has a personalized game plan. Some people are trying to steer you in a direction to tell you, hey, this is the home that you should buy because it either represents a higher commission check or because it's quicker to close or whatever hidden agenda that they have. But no, for me, that is not the case. What is a personalized game plan? It's exactly that. There's a game plan that is personalized to you that is gonna go over 3 things. Number 1, starting with the timeline of what it takes to buy a home. For some people, they go, hey, Derek, I need a house in 30 days, so we need to find one quick, and I just wanna get a good deal. Perfect. Some people go, look, however long it takes me, it doesn't really matter. I'm living at home right now, or I can break my lease whenever. I just want to make sure that I get my dream home, or I get a home that I absolutely love. And that process for some people can take up to 2 years. So part of that game plan is coming up with that timeline and making sure that it fits you with your budget and your needs. Now the second thing in a personalized game plan is gonna go over cost. And cost can look completely different again for everybody. Typically, I like to tell people to budget anywhere between 7 to 10% is the maximum amount of funds that you should have allocated towards the purchase price of where you're thinking of buying. That is a safe number. That number can look completely different. Some people want, Derek, I want to keep as much money as possible in my pocket. If I can spend $0 down, I will take $0 down. I don't care how much my monthly payment. And some people say, Derek, I do not want to pay more than $2,500 a month. I have money. I will pay whatever I need to in down payment in order to buy down my interest rate or make sure that that's where my payment is. And again, that looks very different for everybody, but that is something that we can discuss more in depth, and it comes part as your personalized game plan. Now, the third thing, which is the most important out of all of them, is the criteria to make sure that you get the perfect home, that you find your dream home. Now, I have a very extensive list of questions that we ask in order to make sure that I have all the criteria that I need in order to find you a home that fits for you and your family. Now, these are things that we can talk about more and more in person, but I feel like not everybody has a personalized game plan, and those are my 3 important steps in order to helping you achieve home ownership. Now let's move on to the next section. The next thing that I think makes me very valuable is that I have different lender partners. Now some people are only limited to 1 lender partner or 2 or 3. Well, luckily for you, I have 5 different lender partners all across the valleys, from all different backgrounds, all different ways of life, and they have male and female because simply, look, some people's personalities match different with other people's personalities. And not only that, some people sometimes have something to offer that the other person don't. Let me tell you a secret. Lenders, they work the same way as everybody else. They work on a commission basis. And sometimes they want to write more loans. So you know what they do? They come out with different programs and they say, hey, look, I'm helping people get a lower interest rate, or I'm giving people credits, or I'm giving people rate buy downs. And there's so many different options out there. But when you limit it yourself to only one person, to one mortgage company, sometimes you just can't provide the best offer, because you know what, maybe this month this lender had a good offer, but maybe the next month the other lender had a great offer, or maybe you really like this person but you don't really match with their personality. And this is the person that you're also going to be talking to on the phone, and you're going to be communicating constantly. So I want to make sure that you have a lender that you're actually comfortable with sharing all of your financial information. And moving on from the lenders, I want to talk about the home showing process. And this is very important. This is very fun, because this is where we take our personalized game plan and all that criteria that I talked about. And it's about going out there and starting to look at homes that are actually going to fit your criteria. Now, with me, if you want to see 1,000 homes or you want to see 1 home, it does not matter, because you know who's going to be going home to that home every day. You know who's going to be making the mortgage payments. You know who needs to be happy. That is you, yourself. And it is my job to allow you to be comfortable in that process. And I will never push you towards a certain area. I will never push you towards a certain home. I will only make sure that we stick to that criteria and we find a home that is a 10, because there's homes that are a 10 out there, and I will accept nothing less. Now, part of my home showing strategy is actually a clipboard that I carry with me that is very, very important, because every home that we look into is very unique, has a different personality, and it's gonna have things that you do like, and there's gonna be things that you don't like. No home is absolutely perfect, but we have to find the one that's perfect for you. Now, what I like to do is I like to go through a grading system where we're gonna grade all of the homes that we see from 1 to 10. And if the home is below a 7, we will throw that paper away and we will never look at it again. Now, if a home is 7 or above, we're gonna say, hey, these are 3 things that I like. These are 3 things that I don't like. This is what I would change. This is what I value, and this is what I don't. And the reason why we're doing that is because through the home buying process, you're probably gonna look at 5, 10, 15, 20 homes. And at some point, you're gonna forget what you saw in that 3rd home. So we're gonna go back to the list and be like, hey, no, you said here, oh yeah, I forgot that the closet was small or that the carpet wasn't new. And eventually what we're gonna do is we're gonna find patterns of things that you do like and you do value in homes. And that's gonna lead us more and more to finding that perfect home for you. Now, once we found the one, this is where I really shine. And that is doing the best that I can to making sure that I put you in a position to get a really good deal, but also giving a high likelihood of getting your offer accepted. And you know how I do that? It's called insider information, and it's called getting all of the information I need on the seller or the homeowner or the agent to make sure that we can negotiate the best possible terms that are in your advantage. Now, there's different ways of doing this, which I won't say on camera right now, but when we have a private discussion, we can talk a little bit more about how I get insider information to make sure that we learn everything we need to know about the seller and about the agent to give you the highest likelihood, again, of getting your offer accepted in good terms and conditions. Now, once we move along in the process and we do open escrow, which is very simple, we enter that inspection period. I do have some preferred inspectors. Now, I do have different options across the valley at different price points, but I will say that my inspections, I make sure that, look, they are very in-depth. The inspectors that I've partnered with, their inspections can be anywhere between up to like 50 pages, even for a basic condo. And that's what we want, because some things are not as important, but I want to know everything about the home. I want you guys to know about that little scratch. I want you guys to know about that little crack. I want you guys to know about that little place that's missing caulk. It doesn't matter. The inspection is the most important part of the process because this is the money grab in the transaction. This is where you're really going to get a good deal on the home, and this is where we can really bully the homeowner and the agent into getting what we want. So once we get our inspection, this is where I really go to work, because I'm gonna ask you, I'm gonna say, hey, look, we've got 80 things on the list here. My personal opinion, I think that we should ask for this 12, or we should ask for this 15, because we've submitted an offer already in a way where we've already got some favorable terms, but maybe we can get it even a little bit more favorable. And I'm gonna ask you, what do you value out of these things that are here? I personally think that these will add more value to your home, or these are expensive, and we can kind of dialogue from there. Once we find out how we wanna submit this Binzer, that's when I shine. I go to work, we ask, and we negotiate. Again, this is where negotiation and sales tactics come in, because you don't want to come in there and just be a bend over and say, hey, look, it's okay. No, do you want to sell this home? Because we want to buy it and we don't want to fall out of contract. And I know you don't want to deal with the negotiation process again, but these are some of the things that are required for us to keep moving along with the process. So once we do that, most of the time we're shooting for a high percentage where we kind of get all of the things that we wanted in that inspection report. And after this, it's just a smooth process from there. Kind of looks the same for everybody. You're gonna have your appraisal, you're gonna have your final walkthrough, and then we're gonna close. And when we close, this is where I like to separate myself. So using my background in marketing, in photography, and videography, what I like to do for my clients is I like to take professional photos of them, whether they're single, with their family, with their kids, and just kind of give them a little gift about home ownership and something that they can keep. I also like to give them a little interview, and I like to ask them, how do they feel about home ownership? How do they feel about their first day in their home? How excited are they, right? And I take that clip and I save it in my archives. I also send it to them so that way they can have something to look back a year from now and remember, wow, I remember the first day that we got into our home. Look, when we got in our home, we didn't have a family or we didn't have a kid. Now we have 2 or 3. And that is something, a long-lasting memory that I like to keep with my clients, because at the end of the day, a lot of times we get super busy and we get to closing, and while the balloons are nice and the gifts are nice, sometimes looking back on those memories digitally and having that video there and having those professional photos done is something that really attaches us to a moment. And yes, I will get you a closing gift. That's something that everybody should do, but I really like to create something that is gonna last and is gonna create a long-lasting memory. Now, once we've kind of gone through that process to kind of wrap things up, look, by the end of this process, I would like to be family. I don't wanna be friends anymore. I want to be invited for dinner. I want to be invited for Thanksgiving, and I would like to do the same for you. And I think that a lot of times with real estate agents, this is a lot more than a transaction. This is about creating a long-lasting relationship. Whether I'm here today or not here tomorrow, whether I'm moving somewhere else, I will make sure to always maintain communication, and for you to always be in good terms and conditions with your home, the expectations, and making sure that you're simply happy with the decision that you've made. And you know what? Sometimes life gets in the way. And something that I've noticed is like, look, some people have bought homes, and for fortunate and unfortunate events, sometimes they've needed to relist their property. And if you need to relist your property within the first 18 months, you know what? I would do it for absolutely free. If you also need help finding a tenant, I can help you with that for a very, very minimal fee. Because again, my job is to be here for you and to provide the best possible service long after you've already closed on your home. So my goal with this video is hopefully to impress you enough and give you all of the details that you need in order to help you pick me as your real estate agent. I hope that I really impressed you, and I hope that we can work together, and I'm really excited to get in front of you and even tell you more things in person. With that being said, I am Perez, your local Phoenix Realtor, here for all of your real estate needs.